But that lady, that new press secretary, she's
that video, dude.
She's have you seen that video?
You've never seen someone more prepared for a question in your life, Jamie.
They're prepared. And you know why they're prepared? Because they're trying to play gotcha.
Yep.
So she played gotcha with them. She checkmated.
Absolutely not. Let me be unequivocally clear about that. And watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years. They likened President Trump to they have mocked him, they have shamed him, they have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality. And you're right, ABC should wake up.
What seemed like just another morning of heated opinions and studio applause quickly turned into something much bigger. Karoline Leavitt, a fast-rising political voice and outspoken supporter of free speech, has reportedly hit The View with a massive $500 million lawsuit, leaving the panel under intense pressure. $500 million. And the timing couldn't be more dramatic. Sunny Hostin took aim. Joe Rogan answered with sharp criticism. And what started as a typical daytime TV exchange suddenly became a battle over reputation, influence, and who really gets to shape the public narrative. The comments hung in the...
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Mm-hmm. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the woke
air, sounding part like a lecture and part like a joke, painting Karoline Leavitt as more of a target than a political voice. She stayed calm, sitting upright with her papers neatly arranged, looking directly at the cameras and the co-hosts without losing her composure. Joy Behar's remark got a few quick laughs, but they carried a noticeable edge. Then Whoopi Goldberg leaned in, speaking with a sharper tone and animated gestures as she launched into a speech about wokeness and opportunity. The atmosphere on set shifted fast. It no longer felt like light daytime conversation. It felt like the opening moments of a much larger showdown. This was more than morning TV. It had turned into a cultural debate playing out live. So, buckle up. And if you don't want to miss what happens next, be sure to...
Sunny Hostin on The View thinks entering the country illegally is not a crime. Karoline Leavitt knows different.
An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal because he or she is undocumented. That is a civil offense.
Federal crime.
So to call people illegal, in of itself, I think xenophobic.
Because they illegally broke our laws and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
Subscribe and stick with us. Karoline Leavitt stayed quiet, her hands folded and her eyes focused on the host. To many watching at home, it felt like two very different viewpoints colliding. One side pushed for a new way of looking at the issue, while the others stood by more traditional ideas. As soon as the clip spread across social media, people quickly took sides. Some praised the discussion as a show of compassion, while others questioned the arguments being made. But inside the studio, the biggest story wasn't the applause or the silence. It was how a routine morning conversation suddenly turned into the center of a much bigger cultural debate. And that's where the story takes a dramatic turn. What happened next pushed this clash far beyond a TV debate and into the middle of a reported $500 million legal battle. Stay with us, because the biggest twists are still ahead. Karoline Leavitt wasn't about to let the comments slide. While some might have brushed them off as just another heated TV exchange, she chose a different path. By filing a lawsuit,
their argument that this administration is not standing up for the First Amendment is preposterous. You have a president of the United States who, within hours of taking the oath of office, welcomed journalists into the most intimate corner of the American presidency, the Oval Office, to ask him questions for more than an hour on every topic under the sun. He has done that on a near daily basis, and when he's not doing that because he's too busy with meetings, even though he'd love to do it every day, I, as his press secretary, am out there. We have administration officials going to the cameras every single day.
She made it clear she believed there should be limits on what can be said at someone else's expense. To her supporters, it was about protecting her reputation, not backing down. Then the story took another turn when Joe Rogan weighed in. He didn't hold back. He sharply criticized The View, accused the show of double standards, and argued that Karoline's lawsuit was a calculated move rather than a sign of weakness. And if you thought the tension was already high, wait until you hear what Rogan had to say next about daytime television. The tension had been building all along, but Joe Rogan was the one who cut through the noise. In his view, this wasn't really about politics. It was about putting...
But that lady, that new press secretary...
As you all know, over the past month, the president has taken questions from the press, all of you.
Dude,
She's
you've never seen someone more prepared for a question in your life, Jamie.
Nearly every single day, sometimes on multiple different occasions in the same day, on any topic any of you wish to talk about.
She was so prepared for
Yes. Well, she's supposed to be prepared.
That's why I
Jamie.
said you've never seen someone
You know
more
why?
prepared.
President Trump set the tone on this approach immediately when he took more than 12 times the questions in his first few hours in office as Joe Biden did in his entire first week.
They're
that specific
prepared.
question,
Yes,
though.
because they're prepared.
Yesterday, we hosted a local media row here at the White House with television and radio stations from across the country that reached up to 60 million viewers and listeners.
And you know why they're prepared? Because they're trying to play gotcha.
Yep.
So she played gotcha with them.
on a show. He argued that reporters were trying to corner Karoline Leavitt, but she turned the pressure back on them, flipping the situation in a way that caught people off guard. His audience laughed, but there was a serious point behind the humor. To Rogan, this wasn't just about giving the right answers. It was about surviving in a media environment where every exchange feels like a fight. Another clip appeared on the screen showing The View laughing and dismissing him as the guy who believes in dragons. Rogan mocked their delivery, repeating their...
Joy Behar was trying to say that I believe in dragons.
We went from Walter Cronkite, basically, to this guy, Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons.
I checked it.
I checked it. He believes in dragons.
The lady goes, did you double check it? She goes, I checked it. He believes in dragons.
Believes in dragons.
Did you triple force that?
Yes, I did.
This is the most important part. This is right after she was saying, we are run by ABC News. You should trust us, not Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons.
That's why people like our show, because they know that we are checked by ABC News.
By saying we should trust them because they're double checked by ABC News, and then making the stupidest statement.
And he also thinks that dragons, like dinosaur-y type of animals, roamed the earth when people did.
You didn't listen to what I said.
double checks and triple checks in a deadpan voice. The studio burst into laughter, but his message was serious. He argued that while they claimed the credibility of legacy media, their attacks came across more like comedy than journalism. For his audience, it wasn't just entertaining, it changed the way they saw the debate. The panel no longer looked like the final authority, and Karoline Leavitt's lawsuit began to seem less like a reaction and more like a calculated move. Then Rogan took the conversation a step further. He pointed out that The View once welcomed Trump with smiles and friendly
When I was on there, I really had no idea how it was going to land with the audience. So I just went in there, did my thing. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who Sunny Hostin was. I actually still really don't know. So I wasn't expecting necessarily for her to kind of try to ambush me in that way and attack my character in that way. And I responded to it in the moment, as I do.
I think Sunny's very intelligent, but she's ideologically captured.
Right.
You know, that's what I think. The other ones, there's a couple of the other ones. Don't have to name any names. Are just very dull
conversations. But after he won the presidency, he argued the tone changed completely. Rogan compared it to a TV show where the characters suddenly switch roles from one season to the next. In his view, the reaction seemed to depend more on the storyline than on consistency. It wasn't just about one lawsuit. It was about a media culture he believes
The real fans of The View that are like, oh, these ladies are on point. Most of those people can't leave the house.
South African president paid a visit to the White House yesterday, which turned into a surprise presentation on conspiracy theories of a white genocide in his country.
I think the problem with that show is that show has this very specific ideological bubble in which they operate in. You know, and they always bring on a token conservative woman, they yell over her and silence her.
The reaction seemed to depend more on the storyline than on consistency. It wasn't just about one lawsuit. It was about a media culture he believes operates inside an ideological bubble, one that shuts down opposing views and then mocks anyone who challenges it. Between the jokes and the sharp criticism, many listeners found themselves laughing at what they saw as the irony of it all. As always, the clips and quotes featured in this video come from real public sources and are presented for educational and documentary purposes. Now, let's get back to the story.
But that lady, that new press secretary, she's
That
gangster.
video, dude.
She's have you seen that video?
You've never
Jamie?
seen someone more prepared for a question in your life, Jamie.
Have you seen that? You know what I'm talking about?
Small point on that, not the big point, but small point. She was so prepared for
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, she's supposed to be prepared.
That's why I
Jamie.
said you've never seen someone
You know
more
why?
prepared.
For that,
They're
for that specific
prepared.
question.
Yes,
though.
Yeah.
because they're prepared. And you know why they're prepared? Because they're trying to play gotcha.
Yep.
So she played gotcha with them.